Hi Dragons, what's up? It's Nikita Dragun, and today I'm coming at you with a story time video. This little adventure of mine happened very recently, so that's the reason why I wanted to sit down in my new house, in my new casa, and even though I don't have anything set up, even a bedroom to sit down with you guys, I wanted to just set up a little nice confessional pretty much of the crimes that I committed in New York City. So basically a bunch of you guys had so many questions on what was happening in New York because of the fact that I had gone there just this past weekend for Generation Beauty, which was so amazing, and just to connect with everyone and spend time with my friends, and also my mom was there. You know, it was such a great time just to adventure around in New York and have such amazing people around me, as well as seeing you guys finally in New York City. So it was such an amazing time and I thought nothing could go wrong. But lo and behold, you guys know I always find a way to get into a little trouble and to get a little crazy. So basically this event happened after Generation Beauty on the Sunday. I was going back to my hotel. Mind you, I'm in this giant pink jacket, pink fur with long blonde hair. And I'm so exhausted from such an amazing meet and greet. So at this moment in the story, I'm starting to walk outside, dragging my 2 suitcases, saying bye to my mom. The guy is starting to put everyone's luggage into the car. So he's just like pulling the things up, putting it into the car and stacking it up. All of a sudden, this man comes charging, like stomping the yard, and at this point he didn't even have a shirt on. I don't think it was like unbuttoned, it was just crinkled. He's sweating even more like deranged and looking zombie-esque, and I was like so ready to go down, like to throw down in the New York streets. Like, you guys don't even understand. So this guy comes at me and he's like, "I don't even think you're supposed to be on this bus." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, like I am one of the creators. Like, I don't know if you want me to pull up my Instagram, if you want me to like call someone, if I need a permission form to get on this magic damn school bus, apparently. But if it's a problem for me to get on this bus, then I don't have to go. It's totally fine." And he's like, "No, don't you understand what I'm trying to say here? I'm trying to work out a deal with you. Like, give me $20 and I'll take you to the damn airport." And I'm like, oh. I just look around and I'm like, "Sir, I think you are trying the wrong girl here, and I'm gonna casually need you to step off of my shit before I walk out." And I would just casually pulled over my luggages and calmly just, you know, tiptoeing my hair, my long weave, and my big old jacket, and pulling my damn suitcases back into the hotel. So I'm now sitting back in the hotel lobby with my mom, who's there, and she's like, "What's happening?" And I'm just like, "Mom, I can't even begin to start to talk. Like, let me just calm down for a minute." As I'm sitting down there, just starting to text people, just getting a car and stuff. As I'm sitting down, I'm just trying to be calm. I hear someone go, "Nikki?" So I look over and lo and behold, it's my long lost friend. Okay, so this is where we move on to the chunkiest, meatiest craziness of the story. So basically, this friend of mine I met within the first 2 months of being here in LA. I had gone out with all my roommates and they went to an 18 and up club because that's the age my friend was turning, and we were celebrating and we were having fun, and I was actually gonna go see if I could get them into the 21 and up club because I knew someone there. So I walked my butt over by myself to the 21 and up club. But as I'm in this club just dancing away, this guy I just look at, and mind you, this is like a gay club, so I look at him across the room, but I just had this sense come over me that I knew this guy from somewhere, like from a literal past life. So for the purposes of the video, let's just call him, I don't know, like Caesar or something, because I felt like as though I was the Cleopatra to his Caesar, you know? So from that first day of meeting Caesar, we hung out every single weekend, partied every single weekend for the span of like 8 months of when I got here to LA. And also something to mention is that later on in our friendship, I kind of came to the realization that Caesar was very financially well off. And I never really asked questions about it, since that our friendship was not based on his money or anything that he would give me or anything of that nature. But he did have this abundance of money. I noticed that more and more people would come to him a lot and just ask for money and just different things of that nature. And I, again, would not ask any questions because it didn't involve me and I didn't think it was that I had any business in it, you know? Enough with the backstory. Let's fast forward back into the present day and to that moment where he was like, "Nikki, Nikki," and I looked up and I saw him, and this state of just utter shock, like of all the places that I'm gonna see this man that I haven't seen him since LA 4 or 5 months ago. I somehow run into him in my hotel lobby. In that moment, I was so happy to see him, and it was such a great joy and relief that came over me to see him and to see him well. But at the same time, I was still so stressed out over the current situation of me going to the airport and just all that was happening. So like, oh my God, it's so amazing to see you. But at the same time, like I have to figure out like all the stuff that's going on with my hotel. Like, I'm sorry, like I have to figure this out really quickly. And he's like, Nikki, like I have not seen you in so long. Don't worry about it. Let's go have dinner right now. I'm gonna change your flight for you and then just stay with me in the hotel. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? Like, I mean, of course, like I would love to stay and see you, but you don't have to do that. As we're sitting there finishing up our dinner after my mom had left, we were just catching up even more, and he was actually telling me that he had lost his ID and all of his passports and everything while he was staying in Boston, or maybe it was Chicago. Whichever one is closer to New York. I think it's Boston. Maybe Boston. And he lost all of his stuff with his boyfriend, and he actually got an Uber from Boston all the way to New York and just had got there that morning. So he's just explaining that situation, but on top of it all, his boyfriend had actually dumped him while they were in New York, and he was just explaining to me that his boyfriend's stuff is still in the hotel room. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, put all of his stuff downstairs in the lobby. Like, let's not deal with him. And he was like, yeah, you're right. Okay, let's go to the room. So all of a sudden I hear a knock at the door, and I get up and I start walking to the door, and I'm just like, hey, did you invite someone over? And he's like, oh yeah, that's my friend. And I was like, okay, cool. So I let him in. So at that point, it's just the three of us, and it's like really cool just hanging out in the hotel room. And then knock, knock, knock on the door again. So I get up immediately to go answer it, and I was like, okay, do you know these people too? Like, now it's two other guys. And CESAR is like, yeah, of course, like just let the people in, like I know them. So I let them in and walk right in, kind of just say hi a little bit, and then walk into the bathroom. One starts immediately taking a shower, and the other one is starting to get ready for something.
Okay. There's a man showering.
I go to sit back down next to CESAR, and I'm just like, oh, like who are these people? Like, those people, this guy's your friend, but who are those other two people? And CESAR goes and tells me that that other guy is the boyfriend that just dumped him, and he brought over a new guy that he has no idea who he is, like maybe like a hookup buddy, which makes me upset because I'm a very protective friend. So I tell CESAR to pack up his stuff, get ready, and we're gonna pretend that we're gonna go out. So we leave the room, mind you, with those other three people in the room, and I immediately call down to the front desk, and I'm like, I need every single person without a room key escorted out of my penthouse immediately. And mind you, that could have been extremely petty of me to do so, but I also had all of my stuff inside of that hotel room, and I was so extremely nervous for what could happen to all of my valuables, and also to the guy, the boyfriend or whatever, was giving extreme attitude to my friend CESAR, and I was like, okay, we're not having this. I had the longest day, sweetheart. I'm gonna need you and your little whatevers to go right this second, right now. We go back in the room and everything is totally fine, and we actually end up going out that night and having just a really amazing time with each other like we always do. We head back to the room, and I finally get my much needed rest, and I fall asleep. I wake up and I look over, and it looked like the bed hadn't even been touched. Like, I kind of felt like weird. Like, I kind of had like that moment of like a girl, you know, and like the guy leaves in the morning and you're just like, what the fuck? So he had gone, and I called him. I was like, hey, like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just dealing with clients right now, and don't worry, but by the way, just pack up your stuff right now because we're actually moving to a different room because I'm getting a bigger one. And I was like, okay, kind of weird, but okay. So I pack up my stuff, and then the hotel people come and grab all my stuff, and they put it downstairs, and I go downstairs to just wait for the room. And mind you, I'm thinking that I'm gonna wait for this damn room for like 2 seconds, and I link up with my friend CESAR at the point when I go down to the lobby. So as I'm sitting there in the hotel lobby just waiting and waiting and waiting on this damn room, I'm just like, what are you doing? Because I look at him, and he's actually writing on a piece of paper, and he's like, oh, don't worry, this is an authorization form for our hotel. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I don't have any of my credit cards or an ID even. So basically, I'm just using a credited account to give money to the hotel room so that we can stay. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I look at his computer, and on his computer is a photo ID and a credit card, like literally a picture of an ID and a credit card, like some random guy named like John or something. And I'm like, what are you doing? And like this paper is supposed to be filled out by quote unquote John himself. So my friend was just like doing all this shady stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing? And like, I'm like, am I gonna get in trouble over here? Like, he is full on forging God knows whose stuff right now and is submitting it to the people. So like, he's over here submitting it to the scanner or whatever, and then these people over here who are at the front desk are like, oh, okay, like we got the thing, like they call and they're like, okay, so we got the thing, we got the paper, but there's just a couple like verities, like the signature really doesn't match the ID, like could you send it again? All of our stuff is still there. I'm like unglammed, I'm in this giant t-shirt, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Like I all of a sudden don't have a hotel room to stay in, and I'm just like, I want to go home, like I have to be here for another day, like what is going on? Like, and at this point it was like in the afternoon, it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my God, like CNN, Dinosaur is gonna come for me. Like I'm in New York, like I'm gonna be trapped here. Like what is going on? Oh my God. Again, we're just asking, why are we still waiting? Because the front desk people at the hotel literally thought we were forging some guy's life away, and they're just trying to verify with this guy, and they're just full on like, well, I mean, all we need to do is just contact this guy because we haven't even heard from him. We don't even know if he's real. Like his account matches up, but like we don't even know if he's like being fraudulent or whatever. And so my friend Caesar's like, oh, that's all you needed? Ding, 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 ding. Calls up this guy, the real guy, the guy on the paper, John, answers the phone, and he just hands it over to the front desk people. And before you know it, we get our room. So this entire time I was doubting my friend that we are fraudulating, going to fucking jail and scamming our lives away, when lo and behold, it was actually truthful. I was like, okay, cool. We finally have a hotel room, and everything is all amazing and good in the world as I thought. But of course, like any dragon story, that was just the beginning of the adventure. So as we're sitting there in the hotel, I noticed my friend is answering more and more phone calls from primarily homosexual men, which is totally fine, obviously. I'm good with the gays. It would literally be a guy calling and asking for an abundant, like some crazy amount of money, or being like, I'm trapped in like Florida, I don't have anywhere to go, like please can you give me money, yada yada yada. And my friend would just easily just give them money, like cash them money or whatever. And I'm just sitting here like trying to connect the dots here, that my friend is always surrounded by these random little gay men, and they are always primarily leeching and asking for an abundance of money. And I'm just like sitting here like, what is going on? And I'm just like trying to figure out, you know, very CSI, trying to figure out the investigation here. And while I'm sitting here listening to my friends' kind of weird conversations on the phone, knock knock on the door once again. So I get up and go to the door, and I ask him, who, like, do you know this person? And he's like, yeah, like, let him in. So I let the guy in, he comes in, and it's very like, you know, cute between the two of them and whatever. And the guy's, again, such a leech and just like creepy and weird. And I'm like, oh my God. Like for some reason, this light bulb moment happened to me. I'm just like, it clicked in my mind of like what is going on. I'm like, my friend, Caesar, is a sugar daddy, like a full-on sugar daddy, like sugar daddy, giving money to the children, giving money to the boys for favors or something. Like he is full-on a sugar daddy. I finally opened up my eyes to the situation, and it just made so much sense. I just, for some reason, pictured in my mind that a sugar daddy was very, very old, usually kind of creepy looking or whatever, but my friend himself is only 22. It just is crazy that happened, and that it took me so long to realize that that was the situation. After coming to the conclusion that my friend was a sugar daddy or is a sugar daddy, I mean, it really didn't change anything for me. I truly love him, but I mean, it did kind of make me step back and think, like, am I a sugar baby? Like, have I been a sugar baby all this time and I didn't even freaking know about it. Like, what's good, Miley? Like, what's good? Anyways, I finally go back to CESAR and we're just sitting there on the bed talking about everything, and I just finally ask him, like, are you a sugar daddy? Like, what's the deal? Like, are you a sugar daddy? Like, is this what you want? And he kind of just explains to me that yes, he is a sugar daddy, and he kind of just, at the end of it, just wants a companion, just wants someone to talk to, and he just feels so used and abused from people constantly trying to use him, and just really appreciated that moment of the fact that I was one of his only friends that have been there for the long haul and continue to be there for him, and I don't want anything from him. So I just didn't want to push and ask any more questions from him because I already know, like, I didn't want to press him on the situation. But I just let him know at the end of the day that I will always be here for him like he was for me, and that I couldn't thank him enough for the nice stay that I had in New York for the extra day or two. I'm just really interested in seeing your guys' reaction and comments and opinions on the situation that happened. So definitely leave it down there below. Don't forget to subscribe as well and like this video. And of course, don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms at Nikita Dragun, at Mama Dragun on Snapchat especially. I hope you really enjoyed this story time and found some entertainment or a lesson in it like I did. And thank you again so much for watching. And don't forget, breathe fire, my dragons.